Welcome back to another book review. As usual, we're going to keep it short and sweet. There's going to be no spoilers. Only my opinions and little things. I will not be saying anything that happens in the book, just in case you want to read it with no spoilers. So this one I read in high school. This was a book that I randomly found at a Barnes & Noble while I was on vacation with my family. I was so bored. I did not want to do the same things as the rest of my family was doing. They, wanted to go to the pool. I did not swim. I just wanted to relax. So my dad said, let's go to Barnes & Noble and find you something to do. So I went to Barnes & Noble. My dad got me some books, and this was the book. I devoured this book during that vacation. I absolutely loved it, and I still love it. This is The Truth About Alice. It was written by Jennifer Matthew. That is how it is spelled. It looks like a French last name, so I do not want to butcher it. I think it is something similar to Matthew. But let's just jump right into the review of this one. I have a lot to say and I really love this book, but I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. Let's do it. So, let's start off with the star rating for this book. This was a 5-star book. I absolutely loved it as a teenager, and I still absolutely love it now. I'm working on getting a second copy so that I can annotate this book. I'm weird about the whole annotating thing. You know how I am if you've been here for a while. Once I annotate a book, I like to also have a fresh copy in case I want to read it without the annotations. So, that is a whole other thing. I do hope to annotate this book at some point in my life, but before we jump into anything else, if you are considering reading this book, there are some trigger warnings that go along with this. I think that when I read this in high school, it was kind of before the time of trigger warnings, so there is no kind of trigger warning written into this book. I will give you a trigger warning now. There is adult themes in some parts of this book. It deals with death and grief, bullying, religious themes, the loss of a child. There are a lot of very heavy themes in this book. But even though there are heavy and complex themes in this book, it was done in a tasteful way, I feel, and I still felt like it was kind of appropriate for a teenager. I read this towards the end of high school. I believe I was 16, 17, so a little bit more understandable for somebody of my age to be reading something like this. But if that is something that bothers you, please spare yourself. There is a very, very direct in talking about these themes. But now on to kind of what I thought about it. There are multiple points of view and multiple storylines in this book, and I thought that that really helped break up some of the heavier topics and things like that were going on. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes down here. This is a very emotional book. If you're looking for an emotional read, this will do it. I wouldn't say that this book destroyed me. This is not like a Little Life, emotionally destroyed kind of read, but it is very heavy. It is very heartbreaking, emotional. If you were somebody in high school that dealt with any of these types of things, then I think it will hit you a little bit more. The bullying in the book, like, hit me really hard when I read it. The difficult situations that some of these high schoolers, this is a book about high schoolers, some of the situations that these high schoolers were put in is very difficult to kind of think about. One of the bigger themes in it is, like, putting an adult or a parent putting their own internal conflict and internal feelings onto their children, and that is something that's kind of difficult to read about for some people. It's just a very heavy book, but it is so beautifully done. It is very well written. It's an amazing book. And I think that it's hard to kind of explain how amazing it is without reading it. I do have, back in the day, sometimes when I would read, I would write little notes to myself on index cards and put it in there. So there are little notes in my book for myself when I go to annotate it, I guess, here and there. It is a difficult book to read sometimes, but I definitely recommend it. It is so very, I don't even know the word, grown up, not really. It's very real, and I really loved that about it. So that is where I will stop with that one. I hope you enjoyed this short little review. If you have read this book, I want to know what you thought about it in the comments. Please tell me. That's all I really have for this week. I will see you again next Friday with another video. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I hope you enjoy some happy reading. Bye.